Hello and welcome to an episode of Atomic Vinyl Reviews. My name is Jacob and today we're doing kind of an unusual figure review because we are not looking at your typical Monster Arts, Bandai, or X Plus figure. No. We're looking at a freaking Godzilla Humidifier, if you can believe it. So let's bring it right in. This is our cute little, well actually it's kind of big, but our cute Godzilla Humidifier, which arrived from Japan not long ago. So I didn't actually do an unboxing of this thing because I didn't feel like it at the time. I just kind of wanted to see this thing and, you know, not go through the semantics of doing an unboxing. Instead, I'm just cutting straight to the review of this figure or appliance or whatever you want to call it. It only came out in Japan as far as I know, but you can import it from eBay and Amazon and places like that. I got it from eBay, and it comes in this cool, very, very Japanese looking box, as you can see here. Got a picture of the humidifier on the front, showcasing its main gimmick, which is the actual steam that comes out of his mouth there, which looks like the atomic breath of Godzilla himself, which is so cool. Around the sides here, got some more pictures of that. You got a little cartoon image of this kind of chibi design, because, you know, this humidifier, of course, is a very sort of chibi, for real kind of style Godzilla. He's a very Heisei era Godzilla, clearly, but done in that sort of cutesy, chibi style. Around the back, got a photo of the back of this Godzilla over here, the actual humidifier, and we got another cartoon Godzilla here, but now in full size, the big Heisei Godzilla, looking really cool. Around this side here, more photos of the humidifier and a little cutesy one there. On the top, just showcases some info about it, talking about some of the gimmicks and how you use it and stuff like that. On the inside, we just have some bits of cardboard, which is just like on top here when I pull this thing out. Some plastic, and the instructions. So we got the instructions and whatever this is. I don't know if that's like warranty info or like some sort of survey or whatnot that you fill out. But we do have the little instruction manual of how you use it here. It is all in Japanese, and I tried translating it with like the Google Translate app or whatever, but it didn't work out so good. So I just had to go with the pictures and hope for the best, and it actually took kind of a while to get this thing running. It wasn't running for a little bit, and I was getting kind of worried, but it turned out it was just kind of user error. So I'll talk you through that in a second. But first, I'll talk about one of the most important things about this thing. You do need to power him. So he does come with this adapter, this little plug. You'd plug in the back of this guy right about here. So that plugs in there. Now, when I bought him off of eBay, before they posted him, the sellers actually contacted me saying, "We know you're in Australia and you probably have to buy a separate transformer to actually get this thing running, because in Japan their mains power, in like, you know, the power that you plug into in your house, is like 100 volts, whereas here it is 240 volts. So I was kind of worried. I was like, oh, do I actually have to buy this extra thing? It's going to cost a bit of extra money. It's going to be this whole thing. Turns out when this arrived, nope. This actual power plug here, it's actually built so you can actually run it from 100 volts to 240 volts mains. Of course, AC power, if you can read that bit just there, 100 to 240 volts. Turns out that was all fine. This plug actually already does that, so you don't have to worry about that. I don't know what the power is like in America, but you may need an adapter, because I actually need an adapter here, not for like changing the volts, but just to actually get it to fit in our plugs here, because this is what an Australian power plug looks like. You've got generally these two kind of bent plugs are the main ones, and sometimes you have this third grounding plug here, whereas this is the Japanese one, or I don't know what other countries use this one, but it's got the two flat, straight edged ones with little holes through the side. But with this little adapter, and you can get a bunch of cheap adapters, you just plug that in, and then it fits in my plugs here, so that's all good. Getting to the figure himself, he is super cute. Look at this thing. He's actually a decent size, so I was really happy about that, because like looking at the photos and the promo stuff, it's kind of hard to judge the size of this thing. But when I actually looked up some other reviews and videos of this guy, I liked it. I liked the kind of look of this guy being kind of big. And yeah, he is. He actually measures about, let's kind of check on a ruler here. For you Americans out there, he's just under 9 inches tall, or he stands at 22 centimeters, or about 22, 23 centimeters tall, something like that. So he's kind of big, and he's quite wide as well, so you can see he's a chunky boy, which I really like. He's built pretty well. Of course, he's kind of built a little bit more cheaply. He's not like a super detailed figure, because, you know, he's got like those little screw holes and stuff in him like that. He's just kind of built as, you know, a more gimmicky kind of a thing. But I still think they did a decent job. So if you check out his face here, look at that. Isn't that just freaking adorable? Like, he's got these really cool, big, expressive eyes, and just this cute little smile, or just this sort of fierce-looking face, and I love it. He's just always looking up at you, where, you know, you'd have the atomic breath coming out of here. You got the 2 little LED lights, which would shine like a sort of white-blue light through it to make it really stand out and look cool, and I'll show you that effect in a little bit. Don't you worry. And he's done in this sort of nice matte paint finish, at least on his head. On his body, he's a little bit more glossy. You don't really notice it in person, but you can kind of see it on camera here. His arms are a little bit more matte as well. He's got his spines here. They're kind of just done in this big chunk, which has got a bit of painting there, some of the more the darker colors around the middle. It works. It works with this sort of chibi aesthetic. That's all good. And he got his tail here, which is, again, a more soft plastic. It's kind of like a hard vinyl, whereas this plastic here is more like a complete hard plastic, whereas his head is a little bit squishy, not very squishy, but just a little bit, and so is his tail and his arms. His arms do move, which is pretty cool. You can articulate them. Got nice bone-colored nails on him. Looks very good. Very simple. He's got these cute, really big feet, which are adorable. And if you look under him here, he just has a speaker over here. So we got a speaker, and we got some licensing stuff. So yeah, it says made in China, and it says Shine or Sheen or Shine. So that's the company that made this, which is, yeah, all good. And does it say Toho? I'm not seeing a Toho logo under here, which is kind of odd, but I'm assuming it's an officially licensed product nonetheless. So the tail can actually come off. It actually came off when you first get it. It just has a little notch there, 2 notches that you fit into this hole. Just goes in like that and then turns like that. All simple, easy to assemble. And the head is actually attached with magnets. That's really good because they're pretty strong. They're probably like neodymium magnets, rare earth magnets, something like that. So they're pretty strong, but you can pull it off with, you know, enough ease. And he's dripping a little bit, sorry about that. Head does pop off like that, and inside here you have a little reservoir where you do pour water in to actually get the steam going. And as you can see, there's kind of the underside of his head here, and all of these little, spilling water on myself. There's not much in there at the moment, but there's some. All these little notches here contain magnets, and they just sit in these grooves here, these little holes, so that when you assemble him, when you put them together, they just click in place perfectly, and that's going to stop the water pouring out if you accidentally knock them over or anything like that, which is really good, really convenient, and I think it's a pretty cool, pretty well designed. Again, I love the look of this thing. Just this face is so adorable. The eyes are really well done. They really have great personality, and his teeth are painted pretty well for something like this. So for, you know, just something that looks kind of like goofy and gimmicky, I think they did a pretty neat job with the design of this thing. It's very cute, very expressive, looks very Godzilla-like, and I just, you know, you can't help but love it. And I love his little ears! Oh, that is so cool. It looks fierce. So what you're going to want to do when you get this thing, after you pour the water in, he's all closed up, you make sure there's no like drops or anything around that area where the electrical connection is, so it's all dry and nice there. What you do is you just press his dorsal spines down. So you can either turn him off when he's already on by pressing them up, or you can press them down from up the top here, just pressing like this. You wait a couple of seconds, holding it down, and he lights up and plays awesome Godzilla music. Yeah! Bum 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 bum. Now he's in standby mode, and he should, in theory, just start working as soon as you press his spines again. Sometimes he needs a little longer to warm up. It's also good if you're not kind of holding him freehand like I am, because then the components just run better and his steam works better. So we're going to just try this now, and hopefully it's dark enough so you can actually see the smoke this time, because it works a lot better. It's actually really effective in a fairly dark room. But if we just press it now, it does his roar, and look at that. He's got his steam going! Ah, that is so cool. And the light going through it is actually really effective. It actually looks like atomic breath. And for whatever reason, on screen, on camera, it looks really blue. In person, it doesn't really look blue. It just looks like white. And from like certain angles, especially in as lit a room as we're in now, it just looks like smoke, unless like an atomic beam. From your angle, though, it looks pretty cool, though. And at night, it's so much better. Like, it can actually be very clear for quite a distance. So that's how you get him to work. And he will just continue running like this until he either runs out of water, or I think in like 20-30 minutes, he actually automatically turns off. What he does is some music starts playing, and after the music finishes, he just turns off. Or goes into standby mode, but the like steam stops. So yeah, basically, he can just be humidifying your room, or just looking cool, doing his stuff, shooting out atomic breath, and just being adorable. And if you want him to roar, all you do is you just press his dorsal spines down again, and you can get him to roar. Very nice. So he's kind of like the KKK Monster Arts Godzilla, and I don't mean like the racist Monster Arts Godzilla. I just mean it stands for like music, sound, and lights, music, sound in Japanese, like Kyoku or something like that, hence KKK. But then the 1989 Godzilla that they put out a couple of years back with the like glowing spines and the sounds. So he's kind of similar to that, where he also has an atomic breath that actually works, which is just so cool. But he also has sounds. So yeah, you can get a lot of cool roars out of him, and the sound of his atomic breath. It's just so adorable and so gimmicky and cool. I know a lot of people use diffusers with like essential oils and stuff like that to kind of get them in the air. I have no idea if this one is suited for that or built for that. I'm not really an expert in that stuff. I didn't get this thing because I felt like I needed to humidify my room or nothing like that. In fact, I live in Australia and we have really freaking horrible humid summers. Hence why I'm kind of looking kind of shiny and red right now. It's because it's so freaking hot and I'm just sweating. It's summer in Australia this time of year, and it is a real pain. So I don't need any more humidity in my life. So I didn't get this guy for that. It was just purely for the gimmick of like the atomic breath. And I mean, look at that. I just wish we could get something like this built into an X Plus figure. Like if it had the glowing spines and like the atomic breath and the sounds and something like that. That would just be a dream figure of mine. Like the, you know, the Rick Boy figures, the globe spines and all that. Like I don't have any of those, but like if they had something like this, I'd be on them instantly. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut away now and just show you guys a scene of this guy being filmed at night, so you can see how clear the atomic breath effect actually can be. Because this is not the best look at it. It's kind of very subtle in this lighting, but the darker it is, the more effective it is, and those LEDs really do a great job at illuminating it. Alright, so I'm filming this segment of the video much later in the day. It is of course not day anymore, it's nighttime. And now you can actually see the effect of his beam, the smoke coming out of his mouth. It looks so much better now, both in person and on camera. Look at that. In person it looks a lot more like just normal steam. But on camera, with these specific LEDs and everything, it just looks like a beam effect, like right out of the movie. I mean, look at that. It looks like I'm doing some sort of CGI effect or something over this Godzilla. But no, that is 100% completely just what the camera is picking up right now. And look at that, all that like lens flare coming out right from the middle of his mouth. That looks so spectacular. I love it. You can just see it from the front. Very bright from the front. I wouldn't recommend just looking at it at the front in person either, because these LEDs are pretty damn bright. But from like this angle, from like the side, it looks great. You can see that there. So yeah, we got our Godzilla doing his atomic breath, and we can make him do his roar. Wait for it. Oh, that turned off the smoke. Oh no, there, it's coming back. But yeah, looking really great, guys. Oh, where'd it go? Yeah, sometimes it does weird things like that where it just turns off when you kind of want it to come back. I don't exactly know why, but most of the time it seems to work seamlessly. Maybe he's running out of water now. That's probably it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, now he's back on track. But yeah, as you can see there, so cool. And overall, I'm really happy with this thing. I think he's so awesome, so adorable, and I've actually got another one on the way. If you haven't already seen, they are releasing a Burning Godzilla version of this thing. So I'm so excited for that because Burning Godzilla is like my favorite Godzilla, or one of them at least in my top 3. And they actually have like a glowing effect on his chest and like red LED lights in his mouth, and it just looks real cool. I think even the eyes glow, so that one is just like this on a whole other level. Like if I had known that that thing was coming out, or if it was for sale when I initially purchased this guy, I would have just got that one by the looks of it. Definitely do a review of that thing when it arrives. But if it's anywhere near as cool as this one, and you know, believe me, this one is so cool. Look at this thing. Just the cutest little chibi thing. Little cutesy Godzilla shooting his atomic breath. It is, yeah. If it's anything as good as this one, it's going to be awesome. Before we close out, what I'm going to do, we're just going to do a quick size comparison. Nothing like fancy. I'm just bringing in an X Plus figure and a couple of other ones, just holding them next to each other to show you guys how bulky this guy really is. So here we've got the Burning Godzilla Yuji Sakai 30cm X Plus figure. He is, again, 30 centimeters tall, so you can see that they stack up pretty well together. And this is one of the bigger Yuji Sakai X Plus figures. You can see they really captured the same kind of look, these two figures and their faces. Next one is the Monster Arts Birth version Heisei Godzilla. So this is like a generic Heisei Godzilla. It's actually a repaint of their Burning Godzilla. But you can see how they stack up. So compared to like a normal 6-inch scale Godzilla figure, he is still bigger than it, and he's a really bulky figure. Really cool. And they, yeah, again, capture that really nice Heisei look with both of these guys' faces, and I think they both turn out great. So, yeah, you get a really cool figure. He is a bit pricey, but for the gimmick and just to have something like this around, it is really cool. I recommend him. Let's close the video off by actually turning this guy off. So the way you do that is you can either just unplug him, that works, or you can press the button up. So his spines, they kind of wiggle. You can press them up like this. You wait a couple seconds, and you get this tune that plays. It's actually kind of a long recording, really. Finishes off with a roar. And then he goes back into standby mode. And I don't think he actually just turns off fully until you unplug him. But he does, you know... Is he still... I don't know. I think he's still got a bit of residual steam in him, but he should just turn off after that. I could be wrong. But it will, again, just turn off after like half an hour if you just leave him on as well. But you can always, again, unplug him. He turns right off. Or you take his head off. That also turns him off. That works as well. Great little figure, really gimmicky. I'm not usually a fan of the more chibi, sort of stylized, sort of for-real, deformed kind of looking figures. But with this gimmick and just how adorable they actually made him look, I'm really happy that this thing exists. And I am really looking forward to the Burning Godzilla variant of this thing. That thing looks amazing. I've already got it on its way. It's been bought. It's flying over from Japan right now. So I'll do a video review of that when that comes out. But till then, May all your vinyl be irradiated vinyl. Over and out. Bye.